Hello, hello, welcome to your reading, everyone. So, it's going to be a reading for the Divine Feminine within. You can take this as an external kind of reading, something from outside of yourself that is to do with who you are on the inside, your Divine Feminine energy within, or they're just the energy of the planet, right? The planet's energy, Divine Feminine energy. It's a message around the Divine Feminine. I wanted to do this because I didn't see a lot of readers do like a International Women's Day reading or anything like that. There was one other person, I saw him do one, another reader, but that was it. So I thought I wanted to carry on. I know it was a couple of days ago, but the energy is still there and still an important message. So we're going to do a reading around the Divine Feminine. Before we start, I just want to let you know that I've asked to come through a couple of, or a few, actually 3 archangels will be joining us for this reading. I've asked for Archangel Jophiel, Archangel Ariel, and Archangel Haniel to help with this particular reading. Okay, so let's get the piles. Let's have a look. I was also channeling in the energy of, because I'm from originally New Zealand, Kate Shepherd, who was a suffragette, and she's also on the $10 note. Well, she was when I last lived in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have removed her. But yeah, she was fighting for women's right and many other things as well. So I thought, channel that energy in. It also popped up just recently with a few countries having the 100th year of women being able to vote, and it still surprised me that it's coming up to 100 years now. In New Zealand, we celebrated that in the 90s, so it just made me realize how important changes, especially global and big changes around the world, are, regardless of where you live, right? Sometimes some places are still so far behind other countries, and this was like, I think the UK recently got to 100 years. I was like, we celebrated that back in the 90s when I was like a child, and so it's just interesting. But anywho, let's get into the reading without a little history lesson. So for pile number 1, you've got Goddess Tara and Tibetan Quartz with her eye ever open. Okay, pile number 2. Oh, upside down. You have Goddess Maya and Ruby Aura Quartz with Searing Presence. Okay. And pile 3, you have Angel Bath Coal with Aquamarine Authentic Voice. Okay, so these will be your 3 piles today. Choose whichever one is calling to you, or maybe you want to listen to all of them if you just want to see what's happening in the collective as well. Remember, this is around the Divine Feminine, so tap into that energy and see whichever one's calling to you. I'll leave the timestamps in the description below. You can jump straight to your video. Otherwise, I'll see you in your reading. Welcome to your reading pile number 1. You have chosen Goddess Tara and the Tibetan Quartz, her eye ever open. It's really interesting because it's coming up with so many different things of what this could be about. The first thing that popped into my mind was like, this was a choice, wasn't it, coming here in this lifetime? There's like something with this that's like, you know, it was like, yeah, we're gonna like stack up some stuff and get some kind of like interesting things happening in this life. There's like part of it, and then there's still this sense of, especially with the divine feminine, of like I don't know if it's like a distrust in the divine feminine. I don't think it's that heavy. It's not like like you completely distrust it, but there's just like this I don't know, there's just like this like, I guess like it says her eye open, like there's an eye on, it's like, I don't know if it's like society thing or if it's something else, but I can't really like pull all the information out right now. We'll get into the reading, but this was just popping through straight away. Goddess Tara, I love that we're doing Divine Feminine reading, and in the Pickacard 2 goddesses came out, you know. It's just, it just speaks volumes to what this reading and everything was going to be about. All right, oops, I had some water. I've got some condensation on my hands. Anyway, so we've got Goddess Tara. So Goddess Tara to me kind of feels like I think she's more connected with like Tibetan Buddhist, like Tibetan Buddhism. But I also feel like she's kind of like universal, like Hinduism. Like I just feel like her energy feels like it's more very open. She comes in different colors. Usually it's like green Tara is this, blue Tara is that, and this is just Tara, like maybe complete form. Different variations I feel of Tara are usually talked about in different I don't know, I guess belief systems, different people who channel or read about Tara. Just really interesting. And the Tibetan Quartz, there's something about Tibet that's like, you know, just being so elevated and such an interesting like history, right? With the way the Dalai Lama and succession is chosen through that, like the reincarnation kind of cycle. Who knows what's going to happen with that now, since things have changed over there in the Dalai Lamas in India. But you know, whatever happens with the human world, the higher realms and stuff are going to observe, but not really just get involved. It's going to be like, we'll see what the humans do, right? That's kind of how it feels. Anyway, we'll get into your reading. I know I'm blaring on, but there was just a lot coming from this one card straight away. It also kind of looks like the moon, even though it's not. And we're probably still in the, if you're watching this more recently, we're still in the shadow of the Pisces new moon, which is very emotional. Pisces, also very dreamy, right? And this is our inner world, so it's like, what are our dreams? Who are we? Where am I going? What do I want to bring in that aligns with like my purest imagination or purest thoughts and feelings? So there is that as well. All right, we'll get some cards. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. All right, part number 1, Divine Feminine Message. You can take this however you like. I haven't formulated it into necessarily a question. It's just this is a Divine Feminine message. I've got these 3 archangels coming through to assist, and honestly, it's making the room really hot. I probably should have asked for 1, but that's what happens when you connect with spirit. It gets very warm. I'm also using all decks that are created by at least the creator, maybe the artist, not necessarily, but the creator, female. So I just wanted to make sure this was, you know, as into that feminine energy as much as possible. Of course, gender doesn't really mean that it will be female or male or anything like that. But I thought we'll go with at least the human stereotypes, because why not? The song playing at the moment that I kind of listen to music very low in the background, and it's Return to Innocence by Enigma. I think most people will probably remember that or know of it. It feels like it's like a very emotional song, right? It's a very like calling back to roots or something like that. I think that's enough. I can grab more, but I just feel like that's enough. All right. So you have the past. Sorry about the blur, but we've got the past with releasing, rebirth, spring. I like this because if you're in the northern hemisphere, you are going into spring, right? It's starting to thaw. Same here in the southern hemisphere, well, not same, but we're going through the shift, of course, as well, because we're going into autumn, or whatever autumn is for here, which honestly is just cooler weather, and I'm happy with that because summer was not fun this year for where I live. But we've got releasing, rebirth, and spring. So this is great energy. Her eye ever open, you can really tap in. Like, look at her here, crying here. This is like a release, like, you know, crying is such a good way of releasing. I'm not saying you have to do it, but just like such a good way, right? It's such a good way of just channeling whatever the situation is, even if it's like nothing in particular. It's just a build-up of like day after day of certain things happening, little things. Someone's rude to you here, and you just store it, and now it's time to release it. Because how people treat you isn't a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them, right? That's where it comes from. But I'm going to read this one too. It says, "And so I listened, as my soul told me, to let the past go, so that I may awaken to how much I have grown." Absolutely. This is a really beautiful message. Her eye ever open, and the eyes are like really key here, with them being closed as she cries, you know, as she's like concentrating or focusing, and then this like awakening part, this like complete understanding of what's happening. You have engineer as well. That's an interesting one. I'm going to read the light aspect. It says ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. It's such a huge card of overcoming this engineer. Engineers are like, you know, schematics, and we'll think, oh yeah, they're like very precise and logical and that kind of thing, which is interesting because that's like very masculine, right? But the energy of what the card is saying here, the talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas, it's knowing that you can overcome anything that comes up, no matter what, especially if it's stuff from the past that you hold on to or feel connected to in some way. But like I said before, how people have treated you is a reflection on them, not you. And it's also not to be like, ah, good, I have someone else to blame. It's not about that. It's really like, okay, I don't need to hold on to this anymore. It doesn't serve me. Let's let this go. You also have Anna, grandmother of Jesus. This is nurture, ancestral healing, and wisdom. Especially right next to the past with ancestral healing, I can't just kind of brush over it. It's definitely, there was some learning from the past, right? That's why I was like, with this card, when I first grabbed it, I was like, oh, you picked something really interesting to coming into this life. It's like, this was a choice. This was a choice coming here with maybe what you've experienced in this particular incarnation. Look, whatever it is you're here, can absolutely overcome it. It may take teamwork, it may take time, and that's okay. You've got time to work through whatever you held onto, or maybe whatever you took in from a past life. You know, sometimes we can take in things that are like super challenging, and so we'll come into a life that doesn't have too much like wildness, or maybe it does, to like start to get you to work through it. But there's still something you're already working on before you've even incarnated, right? Which is a choice to bring it in, though, because you can always release it. And releasing things at this vibration in the 3D is a great way of just like letting it go. There's full. I feel like it's much easier to let things go from down here than it is up there, even though when we go up there, it feels like they don't worry about these certain things. But for whatever reason, it feels like the bigger learning and overcoming and blessing, I guess, is to bring it in down here to release it or to transmute it or to whatever, overcome it, achieve it, whatever it is. So there's definitely goals here to be had, and I do love that this is a very nurturing figure. Also grandmother energy, always good energy, right? And I'm talking about maybe that you had, like, if you had challenging grandparents or something like that, this is more of the universal energy of what is. There's like mothering energy, which is like nurturing, and then the grandparent type energy is kind of like the same, but like more fun, right? Like more spoiling, or like more giving. It's also a huge kind of boom for them, if especially you understand if you are a grandparent. Okay. Let's take a look at the rest of the cards. So you've got 2 of portals. That's really beautiful. Got 6 of activations. Again, whispers of the universe. This is about moving on from the past, ancestral healing. You may have come through to heal something. It may be in regards to relationships. Maybe that's how you can connect it to now. It's like your own relationships with parents, grandparents, with partners, like children, all that kind of thing. This is 6 of activations, which you could see as the, I shouldn't do that, but like 6 of swords, that moving over from one space to the next, but taking the swords with you. It's like you can't just move somewhere and expect all your burdens to just disappear, right? It takes actual work and thought. When I say work, it's not like physical, it's just like that process of understanding. I think the divine feminine is really coming through with just like, understand your emotions, don't judge them. If you're like being told you're emotional, or you've heard someone else be told they're emotional, they're shrill, or, you know, all these horrible words, you know, again, this is like, just understand what not what they say means to you, but how you're actually feeling. If you understand it, it doesn't matter what other people label it or call it or say to that aspect of you, right? You understand it, you're better at being able to work with it. So it's not something that needs to be pushed away. The, you know, the dark and light of the divine feminine isn't one's good and one's bad. It's just different aspects. One, like the lights for me, like if I kind of feel into it, it's like gentle, nurturing, tender, supportive, giving. And also receiving, right? Like receiving the energy to be able to transmute it into something for the collective or for the family or the tribal unit. And then the dark feminine doesn't have any negative. It just feels like transformation. It feels like there was a word that just like rolled around in my head and it rolled off the table, I think. But definitely creative. That's what I was thinking. Like creative energy. Like there's like, it's not just getting the energy and transmitting something that you already know and then giving it off. It's like transforming, and maybe transforming the situation. There's like this progressive side to it as well. That's healing old wounds and stuff like that. So it's like there's blessings in all aspects of us. There's no part of us that should be judged or repressed, I feel. Just understood and worked with in different ways. You know, you don't want one part coming through when you don't need it. You know, it's understanding yourself better. And I think that's where this is coming from. This, again, could be, especially card 55, it's just coming through with like a little angel number. But that also feels like maybe it's coming from a past life. You can't come in. You also, you know, you can't move countries to get away from all the stuff in your past. It might help being in a new environment, but you still take your thoughts and feelings and everything with you. Maybe in past lives that's the same thing. You can't just go, okay, I'm going to exit out of this life and just leave everything in that and then move over to this one. No, that comes with you too, and you decide how you kind of work with it or bring it through how it's expressed in this life, right? So even at souls, I don't think we can run away from our problems, which is kind of interesting. So we may as well deal with it in this life. You got the Strength card as well. Beautiful card. Origins of Light. I like that name. This feels like Gaia energy. I didn't say this at first, but I was like, this feels very like Gaia energy. And I don't know if Tibet or the mountains there, what they really represent, but if I feel like tapping into it just because the Tibetan quartz, it does feel like truth is like this balance in truth. So I'm like, do you need to speak something? Do you need to say something that's true to you, to yourself, or to your partner, or to your children, or to something? No, there's something there. May as well do it. This is a really good time to start getting some stuff out. Yeah, look at that. The Two of Portals in the night. It's like very relationship based, right? Very connection based this night. He's got roses, looks like he's about to take you on a date. Here's a white horse. That's very like, you know, white knight type situation. Again, could be from the past, could be to maybe what you want in the future, but there's other stuff that's coming through that's already I wouldn't say burdening, but just like, you know, there's other stuff to process first before connecting. You've also got Temperance. I like the sun and the moon, and this kind of reminds me of the dark and the light, like the what we think of as dark. Like the nighttime isn't bad, right? It's not negative time. We as humans generally can't see, so we're not doing as much as we collectively do during the day, but it's not a bad thing. It's just certain parts, and I feel like with him holding them both there, it's like understanding. 1 foot in like the higher realms, 1 foot on earth. All that kind of stuff is coming through. There's like this complete understanding through many layers of however the astral works, however the like higher realms work. You have the King of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. Really nice last two cards coming through. King of Pentacles is an interesting one. I'm trying to see what that may mean. I feel like in some parts, stability is key here with him, because he's like the stable one who's able to provide and give, right? He's the giver. He's also the kind of like the builder as well, like being able to utilize what he has to create something for others and himself. And I feel like that's how you really reach certain goals. It's not something that is given to you or taught to you almost. The tools, like if you want to see this as like a teaching video, it's more like this is the ideas of what you could do to get to a more stable, happier, balanced feminine energy within yourself, where it's not volatile, where it's like expressed equally, where it's not judged, where, you know, the she, I guess I want to say, the woman inside you is like not feeling criticized, judged, or anything like, or it's told she's emotional or anything like that. This is like really understanding the blessing of having this aspect within you, because every human has feminine, masculine energy, and in different parts of our days we utilize more of one than the other, and some people are more into one than the other, maybe because they needed to work on that or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So that's how you start to see the real blessings and get into a space where these gifts or these wins are seen, because again, cups, it's emotional. It's like a fulfillment, a wish fulfilled. So really nice cards coming through. I'm trying to see what is the main message here, but I think they're all these little things are the main message. And I believe the reason why I was getting like kind of like interesting energy at the start is like there's some heavy stuff potentially from the past. Just because something is heavy doesn't mean it takes more or less time to work through. And no matter what, if it's coming through in this lifetime, it's definitely, you're definitely able to process or grow from it, or at least overcome what is perceived as like, you know, whatever you see in front of you, whatever obstacle you perceive it as, is definitely this growth to gain, whether it's within yourself or with another person. You know, take what resonates, of course, but no matter what, you can't escape. Like you can't escape this. There's no escaping it, so it's up to you. You don't have to work through everything in this lifetime, but there's certain things that you definitely can if you choose to. And the whispers of the universe feels like this is your guides coming through with like messages. And because I have these three archangels here, you know, you can always tap into them. Ariel always does feel like, though, the connection with earth, the kind of like root chakra, grounding, stability. fierceness, you know, just that power, like this energy of being able to create and destroy and rebirth. Like this rebirth really feels like her energy. So if you want to tap into her, Jophiel, very strong energy as well, you know, generally seen as like beauty, but this is about seeing things in different perspectives, not just seeing things as one thing and assuming that that's that. So it's like really understanding the silver lining around the challenges from the past or difficulties that have come through in life. I don't think anyone gets through life without going through challenges, no matter who you are. Different levels and ratings, right? But again, that's not to be judged, that's just to be understood by what am I here to learn from this situation. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more card, otherwise I'll go on another tangent. But you've got plenty of time. The engineer plans, he's not rushing in. You're not here to rush, you're here to complete correctly and get into a place where you feel confident and stable. I feel this is like comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. I feel like that's the true blessing. That's the true gift. It's not about a thing. It's about a feeling or about a about contentment within yourself. All right, so you've got reflection. It says, see all aspects of yourself through the reflection of one who mirrors your hidden self. That's really interesting. This is a good point. How do you excuse me? How do you respond to certain people? What do you say to certain people? Sometimes, because there's, like I said, with how people treat us is a reflection on us, it's a reflection on them. How do you treat people? Because that's a reflection of how you may be feeling as well. It's always a good sign, and it's never ever to judge. It's more just to understand. But there's a lot here, especially with the past ancestral healing and reflection coming through, a lot of past stuff. There's no Six of Cups came out, but I think there's enough cards to reflect on to talk about reflection and the past. Okay. Really nice here. Take some time with this, you know, even meditate on it. Above, below, the earth energy. You know, the planet's been around for a long time. We call her Gaia, right? Or whatever other names are out there. In Te Reo Māori, it's Papatūānuku. So it's like the Earth Mother. There's a lot of wisdom, been around for a long time, created lots of things have happened here, right? Way longer than us, and above. So yeah, a lot of wisdom to be had, and a lot of belief and trust in self is coming through here. Know that you have done the right things in the past to get to here, regardless of how you criticize or judge it. It's done. Just know that you've overcome it. Be proud of yourself for that too. Okay, I'm going to leave that there because otherwise I'll be here forever. Thank you so much, pile number 1, for letting me read for you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Welcome, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Excuse me. So, you have chosen, this feels like it's going to be a spicy reading. You've chosen Goddess Maya, which I haven't actually looked up or anything like that, but Searing Presence feels very like passionate or strong, right? Energy. And the Ruby Aura Quartz with Searing Presence. I really like this. This feels like turning up, showing up for yourself. This is like a very interesting message. Also, the funny thing is the song that came on was Coconuts by Kim Petras. If you know it, it's, you know, it's about being a woman, let's just say. All right, let's just grab some cards. But it's also like while this is very kind of fierce energy, spicy energy, you know, the song Coconuts isn't to be taken so super seriously. And I think we do take things very seriously a lot as humans. So this could also be like, while it's passionate and fire, there's also fun, right? There's also taking it with well, like anything with a grain of salt, but also with like a teaspoon of sugar maybe. You know, a bit of fun, a bit of sweetness. So I like that energy for this reading. Whoop. Okay, we'll take that one since it's throwing itself at us. I think I'll put these up here. You're getting the very interesting songs. Now you've got The Age of Aquarius by Fifth Dimension. They must have been tapped into something to sing this song and be called the Fifth Dimension, right? Like, they were getting something. Okay. All right, let's take a look at your cards pile 2. Oh wow, so you have Visionary. Yes. Oh, this is good. The light attribute says capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. I feel like that's very true, especially if you're like, you know of a better way or a better something different to do. Maybe it's within your job, maybe it's within your own business, maybe it's within your own relationship, maybe it's like with your raising your children, or maybe it's just with like shopping, or you know, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be huge, big, different. It's like, but this is something important to you. And this is where the searing presence comes in. It's like, yeah, you do have good ideas, you do have strong beliefs and good groundings, but you have to believe that yourself as well. So we've been given like the heads up from Divine Feminines, like the answer is yes. It's a very renowned yes. You also have Jelongal, which is life stages, transitions, and coming of age. This is a really nice one. Jelongal is like, there's many different tribes, or yeah, I would say tribes, different tribal units within Australia, like hundreds. And this is one that is really representing the rainbow serpent, the rainbow snake. You could see it as well. You can see kind of very similar to, I can't remember what the Norse one is called, but like the world snake, kind of similar to that, I would say. But it's like the cycles of life, right? Stages of life, coming to age. This is a time of change and transition for you to really step into who you are and let that be heard first to yourself, then to the world. Sweet Oblivion, uncertainty, fate, and humor. Absolutely. What was I talking about with the coconut song, right? This also needs to be fun. There's no like taking this so seriously that it's unfun. It's almost like, you know how some people are like, do a hobby and they really love it, and then people are like, oh, you should do this and create a store and sell stuff. And then they start doing it and they get orders and they're like, this is no longer fun. It was fun when I didn't have to turn it into a business. Not everything needs to be turned into a business. It's just like, you know, you can do it your way in whatever way that, and however way that works for you. But anyway, it says here, it's okay. I don't know what I'm doing either. I like this. It's okay. I don't know what I'm doing either. She's got her head above water though, right? She's like, maybe things can be a bit tight and tricky at certain times, but you're afloat. You're still there. That means you can still do something. You can still make the change. You can still be heard and seen. Sweet Oblivion. I like that. That's so funny it came out, because it's like talking about something sweet and then talking about humor. This is just, some things are meant to be in certain ways. I even was listening to someone talk about, you know, how everybody wants to win lotto and trying to manifest it. But another part of that was like, maybe they're not supposed to win this life, right? They're supposed to learn how to like do something that doesn't just give them the whole pot of gold that just lets them get what they want, instead of like earning it or growing towards that. If that's, they're like, they may be on the path of getting there, but it takes time and steps. So anyway, let's take a look at the tarot cards. You got the Four of Pentacles, Yeah, I think you've held on to what you've got and what you wanted long enough. If you really want to go study, if you want to go do something, there's so many excuses not to do that, right? It's like with the economy, cost of living, that kind of thing. That may be very true for some of you listening. And of course, go with like the smartest plan. Take like be mindful of where you spend your money and that kind of thing. But for some of you, it's like it's almost an excuse. So take that how you will. Yeah, there's a lot of progress here to be had. Huge amounts of progress. Look, even he's running. It's going to take focus and dedication. I feel like you're here to do something and you know what that is. And you don't have to rush it. You just have to decide within yourself, okay, yes, this is the time. This is the time. The Ace of Wands coming through. Very, very linked to this visionary. Because the Ace isn't doing everything. It's like, okay, I know what my gifts are and how am I, like, where I'm utilizing them, where I'm not, and where I want to. Now, well, how do I get towards that goal? I feel like once you make that decision, that's the first step. The next steps will come. Don't worry about how step 27 is going to look. You don't like walk up, a flight of stairs and think of, okay, but what if I get to the 10th step and it's slippery? What do I do? And you haven't even started walking, right? Just start walking. Six of Earth Guardians. This is really nice. There is a balance here with this one. Even the 69, even, it's seen as a joke, but like the kind of looks like yin and yang in a way. There's this like balanced way of getting there. And also the Six of Earth Guardians is a balance. I do like that it's got like the African plains because you can see pretty much anything, right? There's not a lot of hiding. There is and there isn't, but you can generally see everything that's like moving around in the environment, especially from like an observer's point of view. Maybe if you're down on the ground, it's a bit trickier, but like you can generally see everything. There's also dangers, but there's like risk and reward. And some of the animals there have evolved very specifically to be like, cheetahs are very, very, very quick. To be able to chase down like gazelle, I guess. Gazelle and that kind of very quick animals. And then you've got something like the leopard who has like very strong jaws, right? They can dispatch something and then still be able to climb a tree, where some of the other ones can't do that because their claws no longer retract like lions and cheetahs. It's just, I don't know why I'm going really deep into like that, but it just feels like there is risk and reward from specializing in something that you might want to branch off into. But again, we're coming back to Searing Presence and the Ace of Wands. This is a fire or a passion within. And the Divine Feminine is not going to brush over this. She's going to highlight it and spotlight it. Wow, okay. So you've got Rebirth. You could see this as the Death card, which is all about rebirth anyway. Death, rebirth, something ending so something can begin. Let go of the past and move forward with this. I don't know if what you're doing, but I feel like this is going to help you so much. It's not about the results, it's about the effort, and the learning is really in the path, not the end result anyway. Interesting. And then we're finally closing up the Two of Portals. If this is around like work, it may be renegotiating parts of your contract. It might be asking for something that you deserve. It might be implementing something. If it's around your own work, it could be cooperating with someone, negotiating even with like a bank, right? Or whoever, or other people collaborating. There's some kind of blessing here coming through in the future. If this is all around, like, you could even shift this to like all around relationships, and it might be overcoming the past and getting into here, but that's like very, very, it's like, that's kind of like maybe very niche for some people who are looking for that. But even if it was like a relationship, you wanted to spice up the relationship or add something different, or talk to your partner about something you want to bring into the relationship. Don't be afraid. Just go do it. I used to say before I did anything spiritual, is like, you've got one life, just go do what you want to do. And that still kind of like translates well, because we do have one life in this body, in this time, in this form. We're not going to be this version of us ever again. Sorry if there's noise outside, the rubbish trucks just come. But, you know, take out the trash, really. Like, you know, they're picking up the trash and dumping it. Like, just release it. It's time to shift and move on as well. I love that this is like the white fire. It's like this purifying, cleansing fire. You don't have to live the past. You don't have to live a way someone else tells you how to live. This is an opportunity to really shine. Okay. They have so much to say today. I guess when I asked 3 archangels to come through, there's a lot of like messages, right, for all of you. So like, you don't work with us, but we're gonna give you everything that we can. Oh wow, Gaia coming through, really nice. Earth Mother, another goddess or, you know, entity. So Gaia, connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Yeah, this is happening. I feel like this is going to happen, regardless of if you want it or not. Something's going to shift and change. I think, like, if you were trying to implement or do something new, I feel like certain things down the road will keep nudging and nudging and nudging and nudging and pushing until this kind of thing is done. But it's not anything negative. It's really to grow and to express yourself. So it's really exciting. Remember, don't take it so seriously. The future is always uncertain, so why focus on it? What can you do now to improve your world, your health, your life, your situation? That's basically all you have, is this moment, and now this moment, and now this moment, right? Step 10 is maybe in 10 years. Why worry about that? There's no point. You'll get there and you'll be a different person when you're there anyway. Okay, that is basically it, but I do feel like there's a lot of progress here. You can make a lot of headway with your intelligent ideas and your... Yeah, you need to really see that you are intelligent. You have brilliant ideas because you've come in with everything that you need to be successful with the certain contracts and roles and paths that you wanted to pave in this particular life. So know that. Okay. They're getting a little bit too spicy. So I knew this was going to be a fun read. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, pile number 2. If you have any questions, of course, leave them in the comments below. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, hello. Welcome to your reading, pile number 3. Just smacking the cards around. I really want to move today. So really nice. You've chosen number 17, one of my favorite numbers, but also Angel, Bat Cole, and Aquamarine. I was saying Bath, but it's Bat, like Bat Mitzvah, that kind of thing, Bat. Authentic voice. The Angel Bat Cole, she really, like the translation kind of translates to daughter voice, so voice of the daughter, but it really translates in like terms of comprehension, understanding, is like heavenly voice. So if you're a singer, or maybe you need to sing or speak up, right? Authentic voice. This is really where it's coming from. It's coming from who you are, which works so well with this divine feminine. It's speaking your truth, 100%, or maybe even singing your truth, singing your song. Sing the song that needs to come out. I would say even if you want to shake some stuff up and like just move some of this feminine energy around and let it, like, you know, pump through the body. It's kind of like, you know, if you can have a lot of petrol in your car, but if you don't turn it on, it doesn't matter how much petrol in your car you have, right? It's just going to sit there. So this is like, you might have positive feminine energy within you. If you're not utilizing it, it's just sitting there. This is potential energy. And so, the purpose for you picking this reading is to bring out that voice. And again, of course, this is not about male, female. It doesn't matter what you got going on your body. It's really about what's within you and what wants to break free and come out. All right. They are so like amped for this one. Oh, of course, I'm working with the archangels, and this is the only angel one that's coming through, so that makes sense now. I don't know why I forget about these things. Also, the song playing at the moment, I was just having a look. It's White Flag by Dido. Her name's also like a I can't remember if it's like a real person or if it's like a mythical woman from Carthage, right? From like old, I think it's like now Tunisia. Anyway, it's just an interesting mix there. There's like a, you know, a profound like historical feminine figure, and even the song, it's not really necessarily about surrendering. I mean, it's definitely opposite of that, but even surrendering, it's, when I'm thinking of, it's not actually waving the white flag. It's like no longer tying yourself down or getting yourself into knots with things that do not matter anymore. Okay. I'll just start shuffling and grabbing cards, because otherwise I'm going to get onto like a... They'll pull me into like a... not a rant, but just like talking. It's so funny because I'm like in my life, I don't talk a lot, because I've always felt like if I have nothing important to say, I don't need to say anything. But here in this kind of weird, wacky world of being on the internet, you know, there's something that I need to talk, because there's no one else here to talk about this too. So I need to make sure that you can understand and get the feelings or the meanings of the messages that are coming through me. I think I said that on stream one day and they were like, we'd have no idea because you're always talking. It's like, I have to talk, right? This one, and I'm gonna take that one. Okay, dokie. So, yeah, I thought there was another one. I kept hearing like 5, and I'm like, I'm not grabbing another one. And there we go, one just turns up. That's how this works sometimes. All right, let's take a look at your reading. Ooh, interesting. Rescuer. This is an interesting one. We'll see what the other cards come through, because straight away, and I'll talk to it, and maybe it's just for someone to hear, and then they can, you know, that's what they needed. But this rescuer, there's a balance between being a rescuer, someone who saves people, right, or helps them. First responders, that kind of thing, great. That's exactly what they're there for. They're supposed to. But if you're helping someone and they keep going into a drama, or you're that person who helps this other person because they're the ones that are always going through some kind of emotional trauma or like challenge in life and that kind of thing, you kind of get swept up, and it almost feels like, are you actually helping them by pulling them out of this situation, but they keep getting themselves into it, or do they need to actually feel it, right? So it's like this, trying to understand the balance of like, I want to be helpful and help them, but I also don't want to be an enabler. So it's an interesting one. That was coming through. Maybe you need to say something about that. The positive side of this in the light attribute is provide strength and support to others in crisis. I feel like that's fine. Crisis, real crisis though, not the person who's like breaks up with a boyfriend every 3 weeks, right? And then you're there to pick up the pieces. Not that. That's not crisis. That's a habitual pattern. that's a pattern. We're talking about real crisis here, which is a lovely thing to be able to support and help people, of course. Ooh, what a powerful card. So you've got Morgan Le Fay with Witchcraft, Divination, Magic, and Power. I want to read this one to you. She does not come out often. Witchy. This is strength for sure. I actually don't really delve into anything too super witchy. Um, I did have like an interesting experience when I woke up very early with like a message coming through. It was more like astrally, and they must have tapped into when I woke up very quickly. And I'm, you know, generally I would have thought just from TV and shows that they would target more feminine or females for this, but that kind of just popped up in my head. So maybe you're getting drawn to some kind of like element, or even witchcraft in general. I'm not too sure. I don't know too much about it, but if it is popping up for you, maybe look into that, have a look at it, or maybe this is where you can draw some authentic power, right? Some real who you are from a past life or this life into this moment, and it can help you with something, either a situation with somebody or even just to really speak or sing your song. I'm going to read Morgan Le Fay. I feel like she has a message. So the oracle message here is embrace your power, remember your magic, and remember you are magic. Use your magic to heal and help yourself and others. Absolutely. This is a tough balance though. Sometimes you have to be the hard one, right? Especially if you get caught into a cycle of like always being the support and always helping this other person. Are they helping you? Like, you know, you gotta like gotta find some kind of like balance there. Interesting. You also have acceptance. It says letting go, water, non-resistant. It says you can let go now, surrender to what is. So interesting that white flag was on, and I was talking about that as well. Surrender to what is. Yeah. Sometimes if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? And there must be something here that is like something may be over or something may be finished, and it's not a time to like try to get it back or reminisce and try to get things back the way they were. The past is the past. It's done. This is like now time to let go so you can move forward, especially standing in your power. Like, you know, Morgan Le Fay is strength, feminine strength. Also touches in with like moon magic and stuff like that. And if you're watching it, you know, around when I release it, we've just shifted into the new moon in Pisces, which is like the internal world, right? You're especially with the voice, like really speaking your what you're envisioning in the world, what you're creating for yourself, what you want or need for yourself as well. What are your hopes and dreams? Ask yourself that. All right, you've got the Four of Wands. Love that. This letting go aspect, maybe from the past, maybe you've already dealt with it, maybe you are dealing with it, but you know, you're reaching milestones, you're moving forward. Like here, she's kind of like, it looks like she's playing with the wind. She's not kind of trying to control it or demand it or command it. She's just like flowing with it. It's very like Burning Man kind of thing. Never been, but heard about it. Looks very much like that, you know, the hippie kind of like one with nature, one with the elements. You have the Page of Pentacles. Learnings, decisions, interesting. You have the Hierophant. Many lessons learnt. I feel like if you're on this pile, you might even be called to pile 1 and 2. Not that these are similar or the same, it's just like, I'm just like, all of these are good for everybody. All these messages feel like relevant for everyone from the Divine Feminine today. And the Two of Cups, I'm going to say this, the Two of Cups has popped up in every single reading. Not this particular card, but we've got 2 Tarot, and it's just popped up in every single reading. If this is about connection with yourself even, growing your connection with your higher self, integrating more aspects of you into this form, that's really great. If it's like relationships, especially with the rescuer, you know, there may be a time to like speak about this and talk to your partner, talk to your friend, and have the challenging conversation, but it's like one that's going to help overall. Sometimes relationships need to break apart so that the individuals can really grow with who they are, and if they come back together, they come back together, but they really get to know who they are as separate beings, right? Interesting, interesting. You've got the Empress card, Divine Feminine all in one here. This is Naga of the Golden Lotus. Nagas are like serpent beings, I think, from like Hinduism, maybe Vedic. I'm not too sure, but definitely from around India. Nagas of like snake serpent beings or people. But Naga of the Golden Lotus, I like how it's like coming out of the earth. This is definitely about expressing something that is like bigger than, like greater than what you think you are. This is like, you're more than what you, this body, this form. You have so much energy and power to create whatever you want in life. Like there's lots of decisions, right? What do you want to learn? What do you want to like focus on? What do the Hierophant coming through, what do you want to teach, or what do you want to be taught? What boundaries and restrictions, or like maybe not restrictions, right? But boundaries do you want to impose, or impose is probably not the best way to do it. What do you want to like fortify and put down? Because it's all up to you. Your success is based on what you decide, not what other people say success is. Reclaim your power. This is the 8 of activations. Yeah, it's time to speak up. Speak your truth. Reclaim it. Reclaim it. It's never left you. You've just potentially given it away in the past and feel like that's your truth forever. That's not true. You change that. You decide. The song playing right now is I Believe in You by Kylie Minogue. So, you know, reclaiming power, I believe in you. What else do you need to hear? Let's see what this card is. You've got the Coral Reef with the 3 of Earth Guardians. This one is about showing a skill or being seen or being recognized for a skill, right? It can be also cooperating with others to get the goal done. So I think we've pretty much got that down pat with the 2 of Cups, the Rescuer. This is about a relationship or a connection. This is about maybe having a true conversation about it, your feelings, without judgment. It's just like, this is something I need to say. We need to have a talk about this. Oh, but they might not do this, they might not do that. Well, it's not going to happen if you say that nothing might happen, but you don't do anything. Like, have the conversation, start it, just go, you know, just talk it out, sing it out, speak it out. Maybe you need to like yell too, I don't know. That's very like, maybe just, you know, some people need to like yell into a pillow or go out into the countryside and just scream something. Not to like express anything, but just to like get it out. Is there something on this card? Yeah, I need to be a bit more careful with my cards. Anywho, nice cards here today. A lot of opportunity to grow within who you are, express who you are. It's all here. It's all here. The past is the past. Things will not go back to what they were, and that's a good thing, because we shouldn't be reverting, we should be growing. What else do they want to say? I feel like they want to say something about the Hierophant, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can see with it is the steps, and it's like every step towards a goal is a success, not the goal itself. The goal itself is the end, but a step towards the goal is success. Okay. This one wants to come through. You've got Wisdom, and it says, see your adversaries as opportunities to expand your spiritual light. That really does look like this one, right? This like growth of this light being, light serpent. Wisdom. Yeah, you learn everything. Challenging gives you a huge amount of growth and wisdom and learning. If we had no challenges, we would not learn as much. I could kind of see that, just a little story before I let you go. I went to a party on the weekend. It was just like, I was honestly only there for like an hour, but like I just went out to like, you know, wish them happy birthday and have a drink or two, and just talking to people was just like, it was just interesting, like the you could see the ideals or like idea of some people because they hadn't really experienced certain things in their life. So their particular polarized way of viewing it was just because they haven't experienced the highs and lows of that particular subject or that particular thing. They've just experienced what they've experienced, and it's like if eating Michelin star food was your norm, right? This wasn't them, but if eating Michelin star food was your norm, when you have like another Michelin star meal, that's normal. That's nothing new. The person who hasn't had that, like, you know, probably middle class or like anyone really, who hasn't had that, has that. That's like a huge boon for them, right? This is like they dress up fancy, they do that. For the other person, they just had it normal, and that's kind of how this conversation was going. And because I was not interested in the conversation, but it was just like, you know, listening and on the group talk, it was just, you know, there's so much you can learn and gain from people by understanding what they're saying and what they're going through and what they're feeling about certain things. It's like, well, why is it so hard for these people? Just get a job and you'll have enough money. But some people get a job and it's still not enough money to be able to afford a house and things like that, right? So it's just the different experiences that we have in life. And while it may not be great growing up poor or getting into a situation where we lose our job or become redundant or anything like that, we learn a huge amount from that. And how we utilize that in the future is up to us. It can be, we can utilize it really negatively and be in fear of money, or we can utilize that as like, I know what that's like to be there. I'll support you in whatever way. It just makes for a more evolved human. So I guess that's really how this is coming through. I'm going to leave it there before I keep going on, but thank you so much, pile number 3, for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself. Remember, you have the power. Speak your truth. Live your truth. Look after yourself. You are not stuck. You don't have to be stuck. The Eight of Swords activations. Reclaim your power. Open your eyes and see the situation for what it is. And, you know, go forward with whatever you feel is important to you. If you need more time, take your time. But you know what's important to you anyway. All right. Take care. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.